And I remember that it used to be really damaged and it was half curly, half straight.
But our hair type also changes with certain other factors like age, hormonal changes, it can be puberty.
I think you tend to want faster results, but patience is the most important thing here, because the only thing my mom told me is just comb your hair. It's gonna keep it at bay. But that combing just makes it more and more frizzier.
Yeah, but actually what? See, if you are styling for volume, you are compromising on definition.
When you clarify your hair, you feel like it's a little more dry.
Yeah.
And then we use this trick where we use a co-wash to kind of like balance the pH.
Yeah. Instantly, I can see better clumps forming, and whatever wet frizz was there,
it just goes.
It just disappears.
Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome back to episode 3 of Main Talks. Now, did you know that L'Oreal recently published a report saying 40% of the world's population actually has curly hair? And here we are not just addressing curly hair, we are addressing frizzy, wavy, coily, all textured hair types. So what is the main difference when it comes to, hair that looks like us and somebody who just calls their hair frizzy and dry, mainly like a lion's mane? The main difference that brings in the, the results like this is actually styling.
Do you also feel like no matter what technique you've tried, what products you've tried, you still feel like your hair is not curling the way you want to? Well, in this episode, we will take you through it in detail so that you know exactly what to do in your styling routine. So let's get started.
So guys, do you know that hair is mainly divided into 4 types? Type 1 is purely straight hair, Type 2 is wavy hair, Type 3 is curly, Type 4 is coily. Now in wavy hair again, it's divided into 3 types, which is Type A, Type B, Type C. So like 2A, 2B, 2C. It's only divided by the enhancement of the pattern, like more wavy, less wavy, like most wavy. Similarly, in curly hair as well, there is Type 3A, 3B, 3C. In coily hair, which is 4A, 4B, 4C. Now, Type 4 is not very commonly seen in India. It's mostly Type 2 and Type 3. In fact, most Indians have textured hair. In India, I think around 80% of the population will have textured hair. Very few people have very straight hair. To exactly know how to style for your hair type is really, really important. Now, wavy hair needs more hold, maybe lesser moisture, because to retain the curl pattern, definitely try to use more hold products, maybe a combination of mousse and gel, more gel. And if you feel that your hair is fine, you can skip either one of the conditioners, like maybe the rinse off conditioner or the leave-in conditioner, because it can just weigh down wavy hair. So try to have that understanding of what your hair actually needs. Wavy hair, trust me, just needs more hold. Right? Now, if it is curly, it needs a balance of moisture and hold, and coily hair will definitely need less hold and more moisture. So try to analyze your styling products and routine based on this. Now, getting more into the science of curly hair. Why, do we need these products? Why do we need to style our hair? So just a bit of a technical information here, that the hair follicle of somebody with straight hair is round. So it just goes out straight. But somebody with curly hair or textured hair, the follicle is oval, not really round. So when the hair grows out, it grows into different shapes, and that's how your hair actually takes like a wavy or curly pattern. But this is mainly determined by genetics, right? And the bonds, definitely hair is made up of protein. And protein, there are different types of hair bonds there. So I'm not going to go into the details because it's going to be very boring and not understanding. But the main thing you need to remember is that it has more of one particular disulfide bond, which actually needs maybe more moisture, more clumping. And because your scalp, whatever sebum it is producing, the natural oils, right? It's not reaching the hair length because of the twists and turns that our hair has. Yeah, we kind of avoid harsh ingredient like sulfate because it is very drying for curly hair, and silicone, because again sulfate is needed to remove the silicone from your hair. So all of us are born with different hair types obviously, but our hair type also changes with certain other factors like age, hormonal changes, it can be puberty. And recently, a lot of people have realized that after COVID, after the vaccines, also the hair type has changed. It can also change with, suppose now when you start embracing your natural hair, your curl pattern might look different. But as your hair gets healthier, it can keep changing, and your hair can be a combination of different types as well.
And I think that's what happened to me, because when I was actually transitioning, and I remember that it used to be really damaged and it was half curly, half dry, and half straight. So I remember the curl pattern was not forming very well, and because of which I ensured that I constantly got like trims here and there so that the curls would form in the nicest way possible. And also, like, doing treatments like deep conditioning every wash day, all of that helped. And another common thing that we've noticed is, because of how overwhelming this whole new information about CGM, about so many influencers following it, I think you tend to want faster results. But patience is the most important thing here, because you cannot really compare your hair to any influencer.
Yeah.
Because every hair type, every curl type is different. Like even in my hair, I actually have like patterns of a 2B to a 2C to even like a 3B to 3C. It is a combination, And as she mentioned, that you kind of notice the more you start understanding your hair at every stage. Yeah, the minute I noticed that, once I got out of the shower, that is actually nicely curly. But back then I used to use a silicone serum thinking that it'll keep the frizz at bay. And then I noticed that once it's dry, because I didn't know, what styling products to use, even a curl cream or a leave-in or anything for that matter, the only thing my mom told me is just comb your hair. It's going to keep it at bay. But that combing just makes it more and more frizzier. So please keep a note of that you don't really have to compare yourself immediately to somebody out there. Learn the tips and tricks and start seeing how your hair is reacting to the new technique that you're trying. So the base of any good wash day starts with a clean scalp. I know we've covered about cleaning and cleansing your hair in detail in the last few episodes, but here I'll tell you that it's pretty much about a good scalp leads to great results, correct? So you can start with either a clarifying shampoo depending on where you tend to be and how much of buildup you have on your hair. If you are somebody who's living in an area which is prone to a lot more, hard water buildup, then please use a clarifying shampoo a little more frequently. Whereas somebody who lives in, say, for example, Kerala, where we don't have much pollution and hard water, we get really clean water back there. We just tend to clarify your hair maybe once or twice a month. And when it comes to other shampooing tricks, there are times where, have you noticed that sometimes when you clarify your hair, you feel like it's a little more dry.
Yeah.
And then we use this trick where we use a co-wash to kind of balance the pH. And then we continue into conditioning. And also using exfoliating products like scalp scrub, when you feel like you actually have that buildup, but it's just not going, even with a clarifying shampoo. And then we come into conditioning. Of course, it's the most important step in the entire routine, because this is where you're actually smoothening your cuticles. You're really trying to keep that frizz at bay. Yeah. This is where really that magic happens. And water is the most important part in this entire routine. And especially in that transitioning stage, sometimes you have to go a little more than using just a conditioner, maybe using a deep treatment or a hair mask, because this will actually help in your final result. I remember doing this way more frequently in the beginning, maybe using a heat cap back in the day, and used to consider it like a self-pampering session. But what I could see was my final results each time started getting better and better.
Yeah.
So I would say that water, doing all of these processes with a lot of time initially will help you get the desired results.
Definitely, water plays a very important role when it comes to textured hair, because water is something that will give you hydration, slip. It plays a very important part. I'll just give you an example. Have you noticed when your hair is wet, the way it clumps, it looks very different. Yeah. And when it dries,
no wet fizz.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? And when it dries, you can see obviously when you've not used stylers, and it's just water. So when you see water, when it comes to styling also, if there is enough water, you get additional slip.
Yeah.
You get the product activation is better. Product distribution is more even.
Yeah.
As we said, after conditioning, drizzle some water. In fact, even when you're styling, personally what I do is, after applying the leave-in or curl cream, I again add some water.
Yeah.
Instantly, I can see better clumps forming, and whatever wet frizz was there,
it just goes.
It just disappears.
Yeah.
So that's how water plays a very important role when it comes to textured hair. In fact, one more thing that I have noticed is, suppose if I have not had a not so good wash day, and I just stepped out of the washroom and I can see that my hair is looking slightly dry and frizzy. I just spray some water on that part and kind of brush it.
Yeah.
So again, the clumps are reformed. So water is very, very important when it comes to styling curly hair and even activating your products like a refresh. I just put some water in my hand and I just do this, right? So it activates the product. Again, the frizz is gone.
In fact, this morning also I did that. Like, it was such an easy hack.
It's really, it's very effective. Also, the water kind of gets absorbed into your cuticle and it flattens, it smoothens the surface. So that is another thing that water does. So guys, water is like very important when it comes to curly hair.
And do you think the temperature of the water matters?
Not really. I know people say that, but personally, I have tried warm water, cold water. I have not seen that difference, to be very, very honest. But maybe for some people, at least not for my hair type, I've not noticed.
And what is your usual preference? Like, do you tend to
warm,
lukewarm?
Lukewarm. Like whatever is comfortable for my body. Yeah, like I can never no matter how hot it is, I can't just bathe with very cold
water.
So I just prefer that. So I use the same temperature throughout.
Yeah. And there are some lazy wash day hacks which we have seen work really well. Like, say for example, you co-wash your hair and you feel like it's already hydrated enough. There are times I really skip the conditioner and just get into using the gel. And I'm very happy with the results.
Wash day. I love it. You just take a little bit of co-wash on your scalp, on your length, you brush it out, rinse it and just apply it with gel.
Apply.
Yeah.
And sometimes where I need lots, sometimes where I need lots more volume, I prefer just using a mousse. And I know that my hair is already voluminous, but it gives you like with the kind of look that you're going for, even with your attire, the wardrobe or the function that you're attending. If volume is your main hair game for the day, then I would just use the mousse.
But what happens is, I have seen when you're using maybe just like a curl cream or just a serum or any other combinations, probably your wash day results might be really good, but
it might not last.
Day three, you might not be able to extend it so much. So that is something you should keep in mind as well. Because gel is what gives you the ultimate hold. Okay, there is no replacing the gel. I think personally for me.
And another hack that I remember using in deep conditioning is using like a few drops of oil. And then mixing it, and then using it as a
I used to put like a teaspoon oil, just mix it up. So that really makes a big difference. But that you can't do on clean hair, okay? Like you need to shampoo post that.
Yeah, you need to shampoo post that because there is oil and that will also give you build-up. So you need to be a little careful about that.
So now moving on to styling techniques, which method works for you? The application technique and the diffusing technique, styling for volume, styling for definition, all of that. Now normally what I prefer doing is when you're using the moisturizing product like a leave-in or a curl cream, I like to divide my hair in two parts, just apply it, and that's when I go upside down. I will rake it in nicely, I will release my roots overall, and then I go in with a brush because I feel that a brush gives me better clumps, more even distribution, right? Otherwise sometimes it can be more product on one area. So obviously that becomes like a brush styling, a raking, and then adding water for obviously making the clumps better. But with a gel, I only prefer praying hands. I don't like to, because what happens is once those clumps are formed, and then you apply the gel with raking hand, I have noticed the clumps will break.
It's very static.
It feels static. The clumps will break, and your hair somehow will be frizzy. So it's always
they form like wonky curls. They're not forming properly. And one more thing, like for somebody like me, was a lot more density. Even when I apply products in upside down motion, I have to tend to kind of move my head in different directions to ensure that it's evenly applied. Or maybe even an upside down, make like separate sections and apply products. That helps with more even distribution.
So if your product is not evenly distributed, the results will vary. So that makes makes a big difference. But see, if you have wavy hair, right? Again, do not try to rake too much. I have the feeling that kind of doesn't work for wavy hair, but for tighter curl patterns, raking works better.
You're right.
So like for my mom, right? She has very
Very
wavy
wavy
hair.
hair, like
So I
lovely
always
waves.
tell her that just kind of go with praying hands.
Yeah.
I think because that's when you get more volume also. Now definitely if you have to decide what kind of results you want,
Yeah.
and you can actually do that with your wash
Very
day
smartly
technique very
looking.
smartly.
Yeah.
If you are styling for definition or if you're styling for volume. Now we already have products that are more focused on volume. That means they are lighter products, right? So like a very light leave-in, a light mousse, or maybe a medium or a light hold gel.
Yeah.
They help you with volume. But now when it comes to technique, these are some tips I'm going to share now. You can just pick whatever works for you. Not everyone can do this. So initially back in the day, my entire wash day would be upside down. I
Oh
was
my
so
God.
obsessed with volume and my neck used to hurt so bad. But yeah, that works. Like shampooing can be upright
Yeah.
because it doesn't work upside down. But from conditioning to styling to sometimes if I'm diffusing, it would all be upside down. Crazy volume. I mean, amazing results. That is one tip. And the other thing I think can be obviously using lighter products, not raking too much, using lesser quantities of the product.
You need to kind of align and see what quantities work.
Yeah, but actually what? See, if you are styling for volume, you are compromising on definition, right?
Yeah.
So you have to know that you're not going to get good definition, and volume also comes with frizz. So that means you are not kind of defining your curl pattern
yeah.
really well. You're
Yeah.
using less product, you're using less quantity, and you're getting that more volume. Now again, upside down is one tip. Also, I have seen that pre-pooing with penetrative oils kind of prevents that hygral fatigue, and it can prevent limb curls.
Yeah.
Right. So if you really want really an effortless, voluminous wash day, you can use a light penetrating oil and kind of just do pre-poo for some time with it before stepping in the shower. That is one tip. Then when you are drying your hair, if you're diffusing and if you're upside down, that works amazingly well. You can just change. Like right now, I have this side partition, but when I'm drying my hair, I do the opposite side, so that when it's dry, I can change the partition and it can be really voluminous.
Yeah.
Again, using root clips on the crown section,
which we mentioned in the last episode.
So again, you will get some volume over here with that. Then there are these picks available, which you can just put in your scalp and kind of lift that area.
Yeah.
That gives you more volume. Yeah, so another tip is when you are doing your SOTC, right? When you're breaking the gel cast, what you do is you go upside down and really fluff the root. Shake it like a scalp massage in every direction. I go right, I go left, I go in every direction. And that will give you frizz, but again, that's volume, right? For your roots. So that is one thing that really helps. Secondly, now I know we've been talking about using more water. That's for definition. That's for better product distribution and all of that. So then if you want more volume, use less water. It
damp
gives
styling.
you, it's like slightly damp styling, not very less water because it doesn't work at all. But slightly lesser water, lesser product. So all this contributes to some frizz which will give you more volume.
Yeah.
And as we said, maybe even skipping a gel entirely, but that will only give you 1 day result.
1 day result.
So these are
it
all
honestly depends on what you want out of a wash day.
Out of the wash day, yeah.
So if you see any curly wavy hair person, like in the middle of the thing, if you're like, are you ready for a photograph? You'll be like, oh, just go down, like fluff it out and then come up and be like, okay, now we're ready for the photo.
So that's the volume hack that we had.
And personally, what are your favorite combos? Like, what do you like?
Oh, I love the leave-in and hard-hold gel right here. This is my favorite. Works very well because in humid climate, you need a polymer-based gel. We have 2 gels. One is the volume gel, that is a plant-based gel, and this is the hard-hold gel. So for humid areas, like Bombay is extremely humid, even Kerala is very humid. I think it works really well. I don't have to bother with anything, and the leave-in acts like a good primer.
So good base.
For the hard-hold gel, your hair needs to be really well moisturized. Okay, so that really works. So this is my favorite in this climate. Also in Kerala, you have noticed the
Yeah.
products performing differently, right?
Differently, yeah. Like, so if I have to mention it, like, since I live in both Bombay and Cochin, like, whenever I go to Cochin, I tend to see that the hair cast, it takes a lot more time to form. Because it's very humid.
Very humid.
So I kind of change up the proportion. I use like less curl cream and then I move into the volume gel. Personally, the Volumize and Define kit is my personal go-to combo. And that's also because the hair density is a lot more. So I feel like the curl cream gives me more moisturization than just using a leave-in.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I do feel like the hair is moisturized enough with all the conditioning, I tend to use the leave-in with volume gel also.
Okay.
That also tends to work for me.
Yeah.
Even like a mix and match within these 4 products really works well for us.
Yeah, so when I notice that, my hair needs more moisture than protein, I will go for this combo, like the leave-in and volume gel, because they are both protein free. But when I feel that I really need more protein in the routine, then I will go for both protein options. So that's something you just have to
figure it out yourself.
And another tip that recently has been working really well for me, like gives me absolutely frizz-free curl for days, is adding mousse on top of the gel at the end. That's been working fabulously. Yeah, so that's another tip.
And I tend to do this like when you mentioned that you apply the gel twice. So what I do is after raking in, ensuring that the curl cream is evenly distributed, then I move into using the gel. And after using the gel, I do scrunch, to take out that excess water. And then instead of applying the gel again, I move and use the mousse.
Yeah,
I tend to use the mousse on top.
Yeah.
And I think that really gives me enough hold where I feel comfortable that, okay, this is it. I've locked it in. And then I move into plopping.
Yeah.
So guys, plopping, the word actually means to put your hair inside, like let's say a towel bonnet or a turban towel, which is made of microfiber, or you can even use a t-shirt if you're beginning up. That's all. It's a simple curly hair term called plopping, which a lot of people sometimes actually don't know about. And then we have different kinds of drying, which we already covered in the previous episode, which is air drying and diffusing. Personally, if you ask me, see, air drying is a very easier hack for somebody who's on the go. And then diffusing is somebody who really wants that shrinkage, you know. Like I have also noticed that I tend to have a little bit more frizz when I do just diffusing throughout. What I do is I get into that combination of initially right out of the shower just so that I get a little bit of that cast where I know that there's confidence. Now it will dry.
Quicken the air drying process. Just diffuse a little bit for some time, mainly on the root area. That takes the longest
to dry. Yeah. So once I know that the cast is kind of forming, then I'll be like, it's okay. I can just move on. What do you do? Like, do you also happen to follow this?
So personally, I have noticed whenever I diffuse, I get a lot more frizz, but a lot more shrinkage, which I really like. But see, I don't have time to just stay with the diffuser. There are absolutely no time, so I'm just on the go. I'm just like, I don't diffuse much, but I prefer air drying. And
have you seen the other hack, which I've actually seen Desi Curly, Deepika, like she has introduced this, where like while she's getting ready, she keep her hair dryer like on the side. So it's
on full blast.
On full blast.
Both the settings are on full high speed, high heat. And it's kept like at a good distance. And it just blows, and I feel like by the time you're done with your makeup and you're fully ready, your hair just forms the cast. So which is a very easy trick, which I think should be incorporated in your routine if you're on the go, or if you don't have a diffuser. Like a lot of people don't have a diffuser. Another recent tips or hacks that we've noticed on Instagram. Have you seen people using a mesh bonnet for drying?
Bianca Renee, she's the one who made the trend so popular.
Like a net kind of a thing. And then there are those, the kitchen
strainers.
The big strainer, you can use that. And then another thing was a bonnet dryer.
And even the strainer thing has a term, right? It's called micro plopping. Micro diffusing. Pixie diffusing.
That is
called pixie diffusing.
No, pixie diffusing is the method where you kind of cup and diffuse. That method is called pixie.
Okay.
So, so like using some kind of a mesh kind of a material, you can just put your hair in it and air dry, so you get more shrinkage. That was the point. But for me, it didn't work because I was getting wonky, very weird shaped curls. So
maybe
yeah,
for someone with really short hair, it might work well.
Yeah, it might work well. And even they have this new product, a satin material bonnet dryer. Where you attach like a kind of a tube thing and you wear a bonnet and the air is just flowing through, so that can help fasten the process. I honestly tried that, but it didn't work for me because that attachment, right, it kept coming out, and it was very irritating. Somehow something was wrong, I don't know with what, but didn't work for me, honestly.
I've seen Liz work with it quite a bit.
Oh really?
Yeah,
okay.
She uses it and I've seen her get good results. Again, like shorter curls. So it really helps.
Yeah. So these are again methods you can try and figure out what works for you. So guys, now coming to the common styling mistakes. So we get a lot of DMs, right, on our page where people are like, after using the gel, my hair is really dry and hard. That is the gel. Or it's frizzy.
Yeah.
So the most common mistakes would be not using enough product for your hair. Like either using too less or using too much.
Yeah.
So that can definitely give you bad results. Again, not using enough water is another thing.
Yeah.
I have seen people drying their hair fully in the washroom.
Like taking out all of their excess water
and then coming out of the bathroom and applying styler. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So please style in the shower with as much as water as possible.
And not breaking the cast.
Yeah.
Like that is a very big problem because people feel like, we have applied the gel now, that's it.
Yeah.
But there is something called as SOTC. It's very, very important to do that because that is when you get the soft and defined hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing I think is not using sleep protection. That
course,
is a very big mistake because all the effort that you've put into the wash day is just gone when you're sleeping maybe on a satin pillow cover, not wearing a bonnet. It makes a very big difference.
Yeah.
So please, either sleep on a satin pillowcase or wear a bonnet or both. Personally, I do both. And now I can't sleep without a bonnet. I pull it on my eyes to cover it. So that's also another hack.
I know it might look really funny, you're wearing your hair into a pineapple and then you're wearing something on top of it. But trust me, like this is your game changer for the next 2-3 days. You don't have to bother with like getting up. Like imagine somebody with straight hair has to get up and really like comb their hair. I haven't combed my hair in so many years. Because I'll only comb it like either dry detangling or in the shower. So it's really a game changer thing.
Absolutely.
And I think it's something that everybody has to incorporate. Even somebody with straight hair, like even after, like say for example, a blowout
session.
If you want to protect your hair, like a bonnet is the best way to do it.
Yeah. And it's good for your skin also. Sleeping on a satin pillowcase is good for your skin as well.
Another mistake that we've really seen, people who use the sleep protection is not cleaning your bonnet. It's something that you wear, like maybe for the next 2-3 days. But ensure that you at least have 2 bonnets to kind of alternate because at the end of the day, guys, even hair is like part of your skin itself, So with pillowcases, you're using like moisturizers, toners, so all of these things are like being spread onto the, the pillowcase. Please ensure that you tend to like wash these things very frequently. It's very easy to wash.
At least once a week.
For sure.
That's the standard you should maintain. So guys, I hope we've covered everything when it comes to styling, all the mistakes, the tips and tricks. I really hope it helps you all. You all can, share pictures of your before, after and even tell us how it helped you all, what really helped you all, what was a game changer. So guys, if you liked our today's episode, please like this video, subscribe us on YouTube. If you are listening on any audio streaming platforms, please follow us and give us a good rating there.
And also follow us on Instagram to see more of the fun BTS of this podcast and also be a part of our community at Maintain Official. So see you in the next episode with a lot more amazing content coming your way. So stay tuned.